Over the past couple of years, the real estate industry has been going through significant changes to adapt to the growing expectations from sellers, buyers, landlords and tenants, not to mention the impact that the recent changes to legislation is having in each state, which is making it harder to operate a real estate agency as we know it. And in addition to government influences, agents need to absorb the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, which is having a devastating impact to some agencies across Australia. Never before has it been as important for business owners to understand their metrics, their financials, their cash flow projections, their unique points of difference, and how they benchmark their business against other agencies either in their direct market or similar agency types throughout Australia. Recently, the Real Estate Resource Group, which is a not-for-profit referral network of businesses solely established to support and provide the resource to real estate agencies across Australia and New Zealand, had invited Domonic Thompson, the head of residential real estate at Macquarie Bank, to present to the members and guests and provide an in-depth assessment of the 2020 Real Estate Industry Pulse Check report, which is Macquarie Bank's famous benchmarking report. In this episode, Domonic talks about the fact that we need to be building businesses that are less exposed and more resilient to changing market conditions. At the end of the episode, we'll share with you the contact details of the members of the Real Estate Resource Group, so feel free to reach out to them if you have any pain points or struggles in your business that you would like some help with. And of course, if you'd like to reach out to Domonic or one of his team at Macquarie Bank to find out about their product or their range of services for real estate agents, we've posted his contacts also. Hope you enjoy it. Over to you, Domonic.
Let's just touch on benchmarking for the next few slides. And again, benchmarking is a great, it provides great insight. And I think, I've noticed over my tenure at Macquarie, just how well received our benchmarking is in market. It's not the only one. There are other people that provide benchmarking reports and insights, but I know it's highly regarded in the market. And as I said before, we take a great deal of responsibility in providing those insights back to share what's happening, help people relate and feel that they're not alone with some of the challenges that they're experiencing, and also try and help them with a framework by which to navigate that landscape and to deliver success for their business, however they perceive that. So what's the state of the industry? How are agencies performing? And how, more importantly, or equally as importantly for those interested, what does high performance look like? So here's an overview of the pulse check that we conducted at the back end of last year. The actual numeric or quantitative elements of the report were actually based on FY19 numbers. So think about that. That's June last year, end of financial year. Now that seems a long time ago, and many might be thinking, hang on, where's the relevance? A lot of water under the bridge since, because clearly post that time, we saw a real ramp up at the back end of 2019 calendar year in activity for many, certainly across Australia. And then as we hit Christmas, we wondered what was going to happen the other side. It started well, and clearly COVID hit. So we intended on bringing Pulse Check to market at the beginning of the year, but we put it on hold given COVID. But there's so many of the messages that resonate against the COVID backdrop, and that's why I'm really keen to run through this today. So it was the best or most engaged Pulse Check benchmarking exercise that we've ever done. 731 respondents across the country. These aren't just our clients. We take this survey to market more broadly. We've got a really good mix of businesses, both across franchise and across independents. And you'll see there from the visual on the right-hand side, really good state representation in all states. And I do apologise for our New Zealand friends who are on the link. We're not actually in New Zealand, so we're not reporting on anything there at this stage. But we've got a really good blend, not only across the states, but the numbers there represent the turnover of those businesses. Again, really good broad range of businesses that we're reporting, which to me just gives me confidence that what we're reporting back is actually reflective and represents the industry at any given point in time. So a couple of the key themes, I guess, that came out of the Pulse Check. Again, 2019 financial year was a troubled one for most, and we saw that really play out across profitability across the country, certainly on the eastern seaboard, where we saw businesses in New South Wales and Victoria overrepresented when it came to break-even or loss-making businesses. So you'll see there 13% of respondents were break-even or loss-making during that period. Victoria was 14%. What's interesting to note is the WA landscape. They've been challenged for a period of time, quite a significant period of time. I actually spent 10 years, my first 10 years at Macquarie in the WA office, and I've felt all of the challenges that they've gone through. That market's really kind of turning at the moment, and arguably could lead the country on a bit of a rebound. But what speaks to me here is just how vulnerable real estate businesses are typically to a change in market conditions. To see profitability be impacted so significantly because you've got a significant representation of break-even or loss-making businesses, or even in that 1 to 10% profit. And I'd argue for the risk, if you look at the risk-reward equation for the blood, sweat and tears that people put into running these businesses, 1 to 10% profit is probably not where you want to be, but you can clearly see that there's a good representation across the rest of the industry who are still making good profits against a relatively tough backdrop in that time. On the right-hand side, just another couple of interesting visuals. I'll touch on the bottom right first. Profit performance over the last 3 reporting periods of benchmarking. And you'll see there that it's getting harder and harder to increase profit year on year. So back in 2014, 63% of respondents were increasing their profit from the previous year. That then went down to 50. That's now down to 41. So there's a real consistent pressure on profitability across the real estate industry more broadly. And that's why the theme of this is about building adaptation and resilience into your businesses. We've also given some insight as to the efficiency in many of these businesses. So in the top right-hand corner, revenue per FTE. Now that's FTE across the business. And you'll see there that there's some really good efficiency playing out in New South Wales businesses typically, some work to be done across the rest of the country. And for me, this just screams an opportunity, if you're not already, to just be over the financial elements of your business. It's probably the biggest frustration that we see in the industry ongoing. I've been talking to it, as I say, for the last 14 years with my experience with Macquarie. There is still a long way to go to bring the industry up around financial and commercial acumen. The financial elements of your business and success are not beholden to your bookkeeper. As a leader, you need to be across the financials, and we need to be building businesses that are less exposed or less reliant on market conditions and are more resilient to changing market conditions and delivering predetermined outcomes, not simply outcomes at the mercy of the broader economy.